Hello, welcome to Garland Magazine Ring Around Vietnam. And this is a very auspicious moment because Vietnam is one of the world's first countries to come out of lockdown. People are going back to schools, filling cafes, playing in the swings and the yards and so on. So all eyes are on Vietnam to see how it comes out of the lockdown, but also to catch up a bit on what's been happening. And we're very privileged to be joined by a culture specialist from UNESCO, Hung Phan Thern, who can speak to us about what UNESCO is doing, and also our online content moderator, especially from Garland, Nhi Nguyen. So if we could start with Ms. Hung, if you could tell us about the UNESCO Creative City for Design and what are the programs involved in that for Hanoi?
Hello, thank you for contacting us and thank you for the question. At this moment, we continue the discussion with the leaders of Hanoi and our national partners to establish a program of UNESCO to support Hanoi implement its vision and policy, becoming a official UNESCO Creative City of Design. And what we plan to work with Hanoi and is to mobilize the resources, both public and private sector, to foster the creative industries in the city. And target to the young creative practitioners. We hope this program will start very soon from mid-year this year as a part of the early recovery program for Hanoi. As long as the country start its programs to support the economic development after the COVID crisis. So within this program, we will focus on the policy and the strategic vision with the city. So that's all that contains all the policy dialogue and the work with the policy makers as well as the industry. And secondly, we will work together and bring in our UN sister agencies, including UNIDO and UN Habitat, in the series of capacity building programs and the training programs designed to target the young entrepreneurs in the culture industries, including the craft sector. Craft sector is not the only sector that we aim to work on, but we will target a broader audience in the different cultural industries. Our designed or intended participating agencies will include also a number of Australian and Vietnamese universities and the training institutions. That will involve a series of lectures, the forums to discuss the design and creativity, as well as online and the in-person training programs in creative design, in networking and in facilitating these people. Yeah.
Can
So
you say why it is that Hanoi was given the honor of being a UNESCO Creative City for Design? What are the qualities about Hanoi that appealed to UNESCO as a creative city for design?
I have to say the well, first of all, the procedure is each of the city lead led by their mayors, will examine their own assets and look into the framework of the UNESCO Creative Cities Network and identify the sectors among the the domains among the 7 cultural domains of the creative industries that they want to focus on and to pursue as the key and the focus domain to build their strategic vision and to reorient their development strategies. So for Hanoi, as we are aware of the city's ambition that started from 2017, and then the task force established by the city look into all the criteria of the UNESCO Creative Cities Network. They contacted other cities in the region and they examine themselves. Then they at the after a while of study and self-examining their own assets, they were considering between creative design and craft and folk arts and literature. And at the end, the two most significant culture domains that they were considering and hesitating which one to choose between craft and folk arts and creative design. There were a number of debates among the decision makers, and finally, they decided to pick up and to pursue creative design as the focus of the strategy. And I think there are a number of reasons that explain their decision. One, yes, of course, the what the city have as the current access are the massive number of the craft communities and craft villages. The city itself has over one third of the total number of craft villages in Vietnam. So we can see the intensity and the condensed concentration of the craft talents, the craft traditions, and all the skills, and also the labor markets around the Hanoi region. But they think what they don't want to continue the routine of producing the massive and low quality of the craft and they also inspire to increase the value, the quality, and the compatibility of the new and quality products in the contemporary context, and to look in to mobilize the resources, both human and capital, to revitalize the skill sets and the traditions, but to improve this sector, taking in they is more aspirational than the actual situation of the city. So the decision pursuing a city of creative design is reflecting the city's ambition to inject the creation, inject the new resources, and to reorient the policies and the programs support and to attract the attention of young people as well as the public to revitalize their thousand-year craft assess and taking the network of the craft villages around the city as the creative belt to be the driver for the new city's development strategy.
Yes, well, it certainly seems that Hanoi has such a rich field of crafts to draw on that it's a great resource for designers, and it's wonderful to see that UNESCO is helping realize that kind of potential. But in recent months, we've obviously seen most craftspeople severely challenged by the closure of shops and the cancellation of the international fairs, such as Lifestyle Vietnam, which was going to happen in Saigon, and as well as the loss of opportunities to teach, which was very important for many. And I imagine at UNESCO you're looking at reviewing the situation. Is that the case?
Well, I have to say we haven't reached the level of a comprehensive data collection of the situation yet. But we can observe quite a number of immediate policies and actions by the government. They don't have to date the support program for each of the sector, but overall, the craft sector is benefiting from the government's package supporting the micro and super small enterprises that are negatively impacted by the COVID-19. Everyone perhaps have heard about the government's program, the package of 65,000 billion Vietnamese dong, equally around 2.5 something billion US dollars to support the small enterprises. So regardless of the sector, if the workers lost the job, then the companies can submit the request to get the fund to cover the workers' salary during the COVID confinement. And they are also benefiting from a number of other support policies, such as the waiver of insurance fee. The government covered it, or delay the fees that they have to contribute to the insurance fund. They are also benefiting from the interest, the zero interest loans. But all those programs are deploying at the down to the district and the common level, and the freelance and the migrant workers in the big cities can go and submit the support, the need request to the People's Committee. Otherwise, the small companies can submit those requests, and they can receive the support within 12 days of working. So
Mm.
that's that we can observe, and you know that the craft sector is among a quite number of proportion within the informal economic sector in Vietnam, and so they can benefit from that.
Well, that's very good to hear. It'll be raised on this weekend when we're involved in a major forum in Delhi, India, to look at the situation compared to Vietnam, and perhaps we can draw a lot of lessons from the support in Vietnam. So thank you very much, Hung, for sharing that news, and we look forward to, as Vietnam reemerges, enjoying the wonderful lacquer, ceramics, weaving, bamboo, all the crafts that the world so much appreciates in Vietnam and hopes that are still alive when we come out of this. Just before we go, I wanted to get some research from our online content creator, Nhi Nguyen. One of the issues that we have is around export, because many people are predicting that one of the outcomes of the lockdown is that there will be less globalized trade, so a lot more self-sufficient internal trade. So one of the questions is the kind of vulnerability of Vietnam crafts in terms of its dependence on export. Do you have any figures about this?
Yeah, sure. So I'm honored to be here to introduce to you some stats and facts about Vietnam handicraft export. So in the first 5 months of 2019, Vietnam earned 190 million from exporting handicraft products, which is made from bamboos, from wood, or from rattans, which is up to 42.5% against the same period in 2018. And in May 2019 alone, Vietnamese handicraft export surged to 49.6% on year, which is up to 45 million Vietnam dong, 45 million USD. So with that number, the Handicraft and Wood Industry Association of Ho Chi Minh City, they predicted that due to the increasingly high demand from major markets such as European and the US and Japan, from potential markets like Russia, India, or Thailand, Vietnamese handicraft export can continue to grow to reach 500 million in 2020.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So that kind of sets up the questions that we'll be asking Mr. Nyok, who runs Viet Craft, which organizes the Lifestyle Vietnam and also heads up the One Village, One Product International, which is a very important network for producers across the world. And even though that supports local production, it's very much geared towards international trade. So how he deals with this is going to be one of the main challenges, we feel. So come on, thanks very much, Nguyen, for that, and Ms. Hung and UNESCO for your help, and Garland viewers, we look forward to keeping you up to date with what's happening in Vietnam, and seeing you again next Monday. Come on.